Welcome to Ecamm Bootcamp. My name is Jeremy Hubbell, and I will be your instructor for this series. This 14-lesson course will take you from where you are today all the way through to being a competent and experienced user. You're never going to be a master. I don't care how long you're using Ecamm. The developers at Ecamm are always looking at ways of improving things, so you'll be really good at it. And this course is designed to get you as efficient as possible, as quickly as possible, but you're going to also always be learning. So I'm setting expectations from the get-go. How's that from a quick intro? Okay. So, and you can also tell that I have a little bit of a lighthearted style when it comes to presenting, and that's mainly because I want you to feel comfortable when you're using Ecamm. Ecamm, when the first time you fire it up, can look so overwhelming, but it's really not. It's actually very straightforward once you know the user interface, which is part of this discussion. This will be in the second lesson that's coming up after this one. In this first lesson, my intent is to take you through some basics of Ecamm, but more importantly, I want you to set up your first YouTube channel. And maybe you're thinking, YouTube, I don't ever intend to go to YouTube. That's fine. You don't have to. But YouTube's going to be a common platform that you and other students who are taking this class can go to when it comes to publishing your content. Even if you're going to end up going to Zoom, Teams, or some other proprietary platform for your published content, we can all agree that getting a YouTube channel set up, even if it's called a burner account, that is going to be what you're going to utilize for this particular course. So what does it entail exactly? Well, why 14 lessons? Well, your trial for Ecamm is 14 days. So I figure about an hour a day is what you need to get a new concept into your brain and then apply it, maybe do a little bit of homework and then rest, come back at it with a fresh set of eyes the next day, and so on and so forth. Now, if you're an overachiever and you are one of those crammers that likes to just shove everything into a couple of hours, first of all, it's never going to happen. You're going to need about 14 hours to do this anyway, and actually, because of the way YouTube works, you're going to need at least 24 hours. That's one of the reasons why we're setting aside this first lesson to create a YouTube channel, because YouTube takes 24 hours to enable streaming. So that's step one, YouTube channel. We'll get that all set up. You'll be good to go. Then in lesson 2 and on, we're going to be utilizing the user interface. We'll be utilizing Ecamm to create, assemble, import content. So whether or not you're creating content outside of Ecamm or you're going to use Ecamm's built-in content creation tools, regardless, I'm going to take you through how that's done using the various user interface elements. I'm also going to take you through all the preferences that go into controlling how Ecamm responds to your particular needs. There are a lot of preferences. There are a lot. And some of them make sense for most people, and some make sense for just a select few people. The point is that you should know what you're clicking on or off depending upon what it is that you're doing. So you're going to spend some time going through preferences through the user interface. That's kind of from the get-go, that's important to learn. And we'll be creating some content during that time, but for the most part, you're going to be doing it under the assumption that you're also going to be creating content to learn the user interface. So then we're going to go into how to share your application's display. Now, I know a lot of people are looking to Ecamm to up their Zoom game. And first and foremost, if you're using any of the delivery platforms like Zoom, Teams, Meetings, or even YouTube for that matter, the whole purpose of getting into Ecamm is to look better, to sound better, to look professional, sound professional. And the only way that you're going to achieve that is by understanding user interface elements. And then when we get into how we apply these various features in the user interface, it doesn't matter where you're going to, it's going to be the exact same method in almost all cases to go from YouTube to Zoom, Teams, whatever. Part of that is going to be sharing an application's display. So after we get through the user interface, we're going to go through the ins and outs of sharing an application's interface. Now, you can probably do it right now if you were hunting and pecking around, but getting it to look exactly like you want it and to be consistent every single time, it's going to take a little bit of practice and certainly take a little bit of layout. So we're going to spend time going through that. I want you to be very confident in your skill set there so that when you do share a PowerPoint presentation, a Keynote presentation, any of that stuff, I want you to know what's going on in the event that something happens that you weren't expecting. Speaking of other graphics that you can create, YouTube or Teams or Zoom, again, they all respond the exact same way. But where you bring your content in from, Ecamm really doesn't care so much as it fits the file formats that it's expecting. For instance, like this lower third here that's got my name and the logo on it. Yeah, this lower third was created inside of Keynote, which is free on your Macintosh. What is it about Keynote that makes it so special? Well, really nothing. It's a free tool. It's already installed on your Macintosh, which, by the way, you're going to need a Mac to do anything in Ecamm, because Ecamm does not run on any other platform, including iOS, to create content and stream that content. So you're going to need a real Mac. So whether it's a Mac Mini, Mac Studio, Mac Pro, iMac, and you'll probably want a more late model Mac because they can handle a lot of the things that Ecamm wants to do. And if you start trying to apply concepts and things that we cover in this course to a Macintosh that's 10 years old, chances are you're going to run into some hiccups, at least some performance issues. So you can get right now a Mac Mini, an M2 based Mac Mini, or any M based Mac Mini. As long as it has about 16 gigabytes of RAM, you're golden. So go ahead and find one of those. You can find them used. You can find them at Costco. You can find them at any number of retailers out there, including Apple, of course. And I would just go with that. I think the critical thing here is memory. If you can get a later model that has a newer processor in it, great. But the memory requirement is more of an issue, and I'll show you why during the course, why memory is an important component of this. So that's creating the graphics using Keynote is going to be a huge component of this. All right, then also you're going to do an interview. You're going to do your first online interview. Maybe it's your first, but it'll be your first using Ecamm, and in which case you're going to be using the interview tools. The point being is that as we get through, we slowly progress during this course, you're going to be exposed to and hopefully become more comfortable with all the tools, whether you use them on a regular basis or not. At least you know how to get to them and how to use them. You don't have to worry ever about breaking Ecamm. Ecamm's not going to break by things you do to it, but you will want to be confident in your skill sets and using the features so that the things don't run away from you, because it's really easy to make a bunch of changes and then something goes wrong and you don't know how to revert back to your original configuration. So I'm going to take you through that process so you know how to troubleshoot those things. This initial series will also cover the basics of lighting, microphones, camera placement, and setting up your studio. So for instance, I've got two massive lights looking at me right now, and I've got a bunch of lights behind me that add the color to the scene. Those are all things that you probably should know. The camera that I'm using to talk to you on right now, I also have 2 other cameras in studio that I can switch between if I need to during the course of any kind of presentation. So showing you how to set all that up, get it at least configured to get going, is going to be essential for you. Let me take a step back and just say that I am not an employee or contractor of Ecamm. I don't work for the company. So I will tell you things that don't necessarily represent the views of anybody other than myself. And the reason why I say that is because as we get further and further into some subjects, they might run counter to what you hear on public forums and generally from people who are associated with the company. And it's no shade on them whatsoever. I just want to give you some basics that, again, may run counter to things. So, for instance, a lot of people say, well, you can start your entire Ecamm journey with your iPhone. And while technically true, I wouldn't advise it. And I'll explain it to you during the course. Now, for the purposes of this course, yeah, absolutely. If this is all you got, then fine. If you are coming from another platform such as OBS, chances are you already have your hardware set up, and chances are this will also work inside of Ecamm. There will be minimal configuration. Matter of fact, it'll be, at least in my experience, it's a lot easier to set up hardware in Ecamm than it is in OBS. So I just wanted to say that about the Ecamm thing. I am part of the Ecamm fam, which is, you can see here, Ecamm fam. What is that? By the way, what's that called? I want to know what generation you're part of. What's this called? If you said anything other than £, I know you are post Generation X. So yes, it's a hashtag, obviously. For fun facts, you should hop on to Wikipedia and figure out where the term hashtag came from. It's pretty interesting. So then, as I've covered that, I will show you places to go. As a matter of fact, right now, you can do this without even starting Ecamm. Hop up on Facebook, search for Ecamm in terms of ECAMM, and look for the Ecamm Live channel. There's also a beta channel, so if you're interested in beta software, I would not advise it for this course, especially if you're getting started, because although Ecamm's betas are solid, they will contain inconsistencies versus what you're seeing on your screen as we get further and further into the software. My whole point for doing this online course is not only to allow you to self-pace, but it also allows me to update when Ecamm produces major updates to their software. So in the meantime, go to the Ecamm Live Facebook group. You can also, if you're not familiar with a tool called Discord, I would recommend looking into that. Just like it's spelled, DISCORD. Discord, Ecamm has a whole server there that has a bunch of channels on it, and they segregate all the content and the discussions based on specific topics. It's a lot more organized than Facebook, and I have a feeling that that's kind of the general trend towards where things are going in terms of the community and the online support. You can contact Ecamm directly for online support, but when it comes to user interaction, right now, it's either going to be Facebook or Discord, and I see more and more activity happening on Discord as time goes on, just so you know. After we get through setting up our studios, we're going to talk about some of the other things that are available to you beyond the Facebook groups. And these are other courses, these are other tools, these are things that may not necessarily be part of what Ecamm is when you download it, but I want you to know about them. And yes, they will contain other training courses that are outside of the Basecamp network. That's fine. We're a family. I mean, honestly, we're a family. We're at a point right now where we want to get as many people on the platform as possible, because the more educated users that exist, the more they all collectively help each other and produce better and better content. And you're starting to see on YouTube, especially, more and more people using Ecamm to do their online content creation, whatever it may be, but you're starting to see a lot more of that. Some of it's very subtle and some of it is very, very intricate. So we'll navigate that entire process together. And then finally, we're going to look into AI. How can you use AI to get the most out of Ecamm? Can you use AI to get the most out of Ecamm? The answer is yes, and I'll explain all that to you. So that's going to be 14 lessons, 14-ish hours. So set that time aside, and when you're ready to pull a trigger and enroll in the course, I'll start you on lesson 2, and we'll start going through the user interface, and then we'll go all the way through to lesson 14. My goal here is to get you educated on Ecamm as quickly as possible, and then make you an efficient user that knows terminology, that knows how to best produce content, where you should get that content from, how to avoid a lot of common pitfalls, all of those things. I want to try and encompass all of that into this first series. So it's going to be a lot of material, but I think you'll leave wiser and you'll be jazzed and ready to go and start on your Ecamm journey beyond the beginner level. Okay, well, this is the only monologue that I'm doing for this entire series. After this, it's quick intros and let's get into it. We're going to hop on the computer now. We're going to create our first YouTube channel, and then we're going to be off to the races. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you join me on this journey of learning and exploration. And if you have any questions prior to enrolling in the course, feel free to contact me directly. All my contact info is around this particular page. All right. Thanks a lot, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, here we are. We're in front of the computer, and let's get rolling. I'm not going to mince words. Let's just create this YouTube channel. I've already been talking for enough of the lesson, and I'm sure your ears are getting tired of my voice at this point. Maybe not. Maybe you like my soothing tone, but whatever the case may be, let's just get this YouTube channel created so that you can go on to the next lesson and we can get started with the real meat and potatoes, that being Ecamm itself. All right, so I'm actually in Ecamm right now, believe it or not. That's why I'm on screen and you're looking at me and the Google Chrome browser at the same time. I'm using Chrome mainly because this is something that the developers at Ecamm use when they're interacting with Ecamm. For the cases where you're setting up a YouTube channel, you can use whatever browser you're comfortable with. You can use Safari, for instance, Chrome, Arc, any number of those browsers. They'll all work the same way roughly to set up an account. All right, so we're here inside Google, and we're going to go ahead and go to YouTube. There we go. All right, so we're at YouTube. Well, I searched for it, and then I'll click YouTube Home. And this is what you'll see the first time you go to YouTube. It's going to say search for some stuff, watch some stuff, and then it'll start showing you suggestions. We don't care about any of that right now because we're setting up basically what I would like to call a burner channel. This is something that you're only using for this particular course. After the course is done, you can keep it if you want, but you don't have to keep using it. This is just for you to test out your streams. And for me, if you want to contact me, this is something I haven't pointed out, but if you want to contact me and allow me in on a stream, I can work with you if you've got some content that you want to test or some technology that you want to test and you're having some problems with it. This is the best way to do it, is through just kind of a dummy account where only you and a few other people might have access to it. All right, so let's go ahead and click the sign in button. And Google will come up with, because Google does own YouTube, it'll come up with a sign-in. If you have a Google sign-in, that's fine. What I would recommend for the purpose of this course is just create, again, a dummy account. So I'm going to create an account, and I'm going to say that it's for my personal use, and I'm going to enter in my name. Interesting, the last name is optional. And then I'll go ahead and click next. Now it'll ask me for my birth date. Okay, after you enter in your personal info, which I've skipped through obviously, it'll say enter the email address you want to use for your Google account. This can be anything you want. If the email address does not belong to you, don't use it. Obviously, it's not going to let you use somebody else's email address because they have access to it. I would recommend, for the purposes of this class, just say get a Gmail address instead, which is right here. And then it'll ask you, it'll give you some suggestions, different ones. So I'm going to say, I'm going to call this Basecamp Test. And don't try this because I'm going to keep this one active. All right. And then I'll go ahead and click next. And then I'll create a password. Let's see, what should I come up with? Well, just, it says a strong password. Okay, after you create your password, click next. And then it'll ask you for a recovery email. Just use one that you do have access to. So in my case, I'm going to do my public address. Okay, and then it'll say review your account info. So it says basecamptest@gmail.com. That's me. Again, it can be whatever you want. And then just go ahead and click next. Privacy terms, blah, 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 blah. If you read this, then you got a lot more time in your hands than I do. I agree, Google, you can click into my brain at nighttime while I'm sleeping. Personalization settings are turned on. Yes. Okay, fine. We'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we're in. So you now have a YouTube account and a Google account at the same time just by doing that. So how do you enable things to be able to work within Ecamm talking to YouTube? The best way to do this is you'll go to the top of the screen here and you'll say create. And you'll say upload video or go live. So in our case, if what we want to do to be able to go live is you go to create upload video, and then it'll create an account for you. So under settings account, it'll say signed in as your email address, and you'll say create a channel. And then it'll give you a channel. So I'm going to create one called it Basecamp Test. And that jives. So I'll click create channel. And boom, I'm there. I now have a channel. And it says create content on any device. Now, the issue you might encounter is Google may try and sign you out or verify your account during this process. And I want you to understand that if Google does that to you, it'll take you right back here and just go through with create and then upload video. We'll do the go live in just a second. So here I can say, you can see on the screen, create content on any device, upload and record at home or on the go, everything, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's, the first thing we'll do is we'll customize the channel and basic info, basic Basecamp test. And I'm just going to create a description. And the reason why I'm doing this is that if you take the time to make these inputs now, you don't have to worry about them in the future. And Google sees that you're creating a valid channel and therefore won't lock you out or won't somehow take extended periods of time to verify your account. If you just create the channel and immediately start trying to broadcast live, it'll lock down things in a hurry. It's just that way. So just be careful about that. So I'm just going to call this as a tester channel for Basecamp Media. We'll call it Basecamp Learning, like that. And the channel URL is something that you can't really mess around with. That is the standard, what Google indicates is your standard. However, if you see up top here, you'll see at Basecamp test, and notice that it says youtube.com/@. It says https youtube.com/@Basecamp test, right? So that's the actual URL that I'm going to share with people, not this one. This is phooey. We don't need that. So we'll go ahead and leave this as is. The name of the channel, I'm just going to put a space between Basecamp and test, so it doesn't look like something computer generated. And then I'm going to put in my email info there. Okay. And I think, oh, your branding. It's probably good if you want to put up an image. So I'm just going to use our image that we use for the logo of the business. And then the banner image, I can use the same one, but this is where things get a little bit wonky. You see how YouTube, okay, so this is viewable on all devices, viewable on desktop, viewable on TV, right? So it's going to base what the user sees on the device that they're using. So I try and tend to keep it with whatever they recommend. So I'll go ahead and click done. So now I have both a logo and an image, and I'm not using a video watermark yet. However, we will put up video watermarks in the future. So for instance, if I choose a video watermark like this one, it's going to say, okay, you need to add a file that's 1 megabyte or smaller. So I need to create something that is 150 by 150 pixels. And I haven't done that yet. And you probably haven't either. So that's okay. So then you just go ahead and click publish. That'll be published to the channel. And if I want to, I can say view channel. All right. And again, here's, I don't understand why YouTube doesn't do this, but don't be alarmed. You see, if I refresh the page, now I have the correct thing. So I've got this set up correctly. So now I've got the logo image, and I've got the banner image, and everything set up. So we're almost there. We're almost there. The YouTube channel is on the way. So then the next thing to do is click create and then go live. Okay. Request access to streaming. This is where I was talking about. Once requested, it may take up 24 hours to access live streaming. So you click request. Now you want to do this now, because pretty soon in the lessons, we're going to make this something that we do on the regular. So I want to make sure that your channel is set up correctly. So we'll go ahead and click request, and we'll verify, first verify your phone number. Okay, after you enter in your phone number information, sorry, I blocked that out, but you enter in your phone number information, Google will send you a verification code to your cell phone, and then you just enter in that data. So let's see, my YouTube verification code. So I'll go ahead and put that in, 319. Now, Google does allow 2 verifications per year per phone number. I don't know why they do this, because if you're trying to set up multiple channels, you almost have to have like burner phones just so you can get text messages from Google. But that's how they verify things. So that's my number. I'm going to put that in, click submit. Phone number verify, congratulations. And now, if I go back to YouTube here, and I go to create, go live, you can see now the countdown begins. So it says only 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 45 seconds until you can stream. So hopefully you've made it to this point. If not, just go back, because this is the process for setting up a live stream channel on YouTube. It's going to take 24 hours. They'll enable the code. And then the next thing you know, you're going to have yourself a working YouTube channel that you will be able to connect to Ecamm and then be able to stream from Ecamm directly to the channel. So this wraps up lesson 1. And next time that we meet, in the next lesson, we're going to go through the entire user interface. I'm going to step you through all the different things that are required to know Ecamm, and you will simply just follow along. So you've done lesson 1. Congratulations. This is your first step. And this had nothing to do with Ecamm, really. It does. It has everything to do with Ecamm in terms of the grand scheme of things. But in terms of using Ecamm, this is it for lesson 1. The next lesson, we're going to go through setting up scenes, setting up profiles, setting up overlays, what is an overlay, sound effects, sound settings, all those wonderful things. And then you'll get a chance to really start to dig into Ecamm for the first time on the next lesson. So I'm looking forward to seeing you over there. And thanks a lot for tuning in for this first lesson. It's going to be a fun ride, folks. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. And take care of yourselves, and we'll see you around. All right, bye-bye.